Hey, what's up, everybody? This week, how you doing? Hopefully, well. I always ask that, and it is important, right? How are we doing? How do you do each week? How do you do each week? Man, I kind of have to speak English. English is hard today. Oh, better week. That's a good thing. But how are you? This is like the weekly check-in, seeing like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Um, because it's important, right? If we don't ask ourselves that, most times we don't ever really check in with ourselves until it's too late. So. Side note, check in with yourself, see how you're doing. This week, as I sat here thinking, what I want to talk about this week, what I wanted to share with you, kind of my thoughts, feelings around, the current happenings. Interesting enough, like the last 2 weeks of newsletters and live streams. So if you go back to the last two videos, talk a lot about things that are coming up in my one-on-one clients, my group clients, like people I'm working with, more intimately than just like this, which I find fascinating. Um, So it tells me I'm on the right spot. It's what people are struggling with right now. You know, words and how the power of that, and go back a few, like accomplishing them, or celebrating their accomplishments, and really diving into that. So um, yeah, look at that and say, see how see how it's affecting you. And if you need to go back, watch a previous one. There's plenty of them out there to watch. From lots of different things. And again, on my YouTube channel, trying to catalog them so they make some type of sense, and you can kind of parallel them with the Attitudes of Money download. So if you need a little bit of direction there, that's a good way to do it. I'm trying to make it cohesive so that you can also find some structure in the learning that you're trying to do about money. This week, so I was on LinkedIn a couple days ago, and there's a guy who, man, I don't even know how I saw it because there weren't a lot of comments on the post. I'm not connected with him. I was thinking of somebody I'm connected with, posted on his. But he's just like, he's tired of not being heard. And more importantly, he's tired of not being heard by like business coaches who are pitching to him. Right? There's a lot of that happens on LinkedIn, social media in general. People will just drop in your DM in your inbox, right? And be like, hey, here's this thing I'm offering, and I can help you do X, Y, and Z. So he was complaining about. He's had multiple ones recently. Basically you say, we can help you 10x your revenue or income or however you want to call it, right? So let's talk, and I want to help you do this. Um, and he was saying in his post that he's like, I talked to one of them, and it's like, I'm not even interested in 10xing. Like, that's not why I do what I do. Like, this is a side gig. He does something else full time and has a job. And he likes to balance with that and like a side hustle. So he's really not trying to grow that. And he said in this one particular conversation, at the end of it, it was like, but I can send you a template and like a funnel that you can use to 10x your monthly income. Like they just have this script and that's all they go after. It made me think because I'm like, well, I did something I don't usually do, which I commented on it. I'm like, that's because people very often forget that um, really our impact is the biggest thing. And I said most of the time people go after the result. And I put in parentheses money, right? Because that's the result everybody's saying. I can 10x your income. When they're not going after the end impact that you want to make. Like, what's your end goal? I know I talk about money all the time, but it's not really ever about the money. It's about what you want to create, right? It's about that bigger impact, that thing that's bigger than you, that's inside of you, that passion. Because, like, even I'm not passionate about money specifically. Like, if I look at, like, my money stack sitting here, I'm not like super passionate about this stuff. I'm like, oh, I love you, and this is like what wakes me up in the morning. This is a tool, mechanism, right? It's something to help me get what I really want. Because I know as people start talking differently about money, that's what I'm more passionate about, right? When people talk differently about money, then they go and make more money and they change the relationship with it. And then what's even better than that is they create massive impact and change in the world. And now people across the world are being better served. And that's what really drives me. I hear so much, of the stupid excuses that they're spouting that they hear in their heads all the time. But why they can't do X, Y, and Z because they don't have enough income. Well, it's solved for that, so it's not a problem anymore. It's not really what's holding them back, but that's just a little piece, right, of an insight. Because it's never about the money. But here's why money can help us, right? And here's what's important about like all of this, because if we keep allowing business coaches out there to tell us that we can, 10x our income, and they just got to follow this funnel, and then you get all these clients, and then it just miraculously happens. Yeah, we need that in our business. But if their mindset around asking for the money, interacting with the money, is not where we want it to be, we're not going to be heard either. The crazy thing is money is actually talking to you right now. And most of the time, you're just not listening to it. You're not taking the time to sit down and be like, hey, money, what's up? I want to create a relationship with you. But we want the relationship to be like you're just coming and going so you can help me get somewhere else. It's kind of a very abusive use and lose relationship where it comes and goes and we don't think twice. We think more about, do we have what we want? We think more about, are we getting to where we want? Do we have this fancy new thing or that fancy new thing? But we're not actually thinking about the mechanism in which we're obtaining it, which is the money itself, right? I talk about relationships all the time. They're so very important. And sometimes we think about the people on the other end. Sometimes we don't. So my challenge for you this week is going to be really look at it, right? Look at what's your relationship with money. What's it telling you? That's the more important thing. And if you can't hear it, then it's time to sit down every day for a week and like put it on your desk. Like I'm looking down my desk, like put it here on your desk, right in front of you. And be like, hey, money, what's up? What's happening? And then wait and listen. Because it's talking to you. And sometimes it takes a moment for that to start going. Maybe if you can't hear what it's saying to you, maybe write a letter to it. And start that conversation. Because when we do that, we start to have a better understanding of what we can do to better leverage the resource we have, to better leverage that relationship where it doesn't feel so kind of used is the best word I can come up with, right? You all have those friends who you kind of feel used every time they call you because they always need something. That's the same kind of relationship we usually have with money. It's time to stop that. Because if we don't, then it's not going to be there in the way we want it to. It's not going to show up for us when we most need it, when we most want it. So we can go create that change and the impact that we want. It's going to be skittish. It's going to be there sometimes, sometimes not. It's going to feel very abusive because it's never around. We're going to feel abandoned by it. And I don't know about you, but when I have friends and people in my life like that, they don't last in my life for very long. So think about that. If you're not being heard, are you listening to the relationships around you? Are you listening to money? Are you being heard by it? And is it being heard by you? Because if not, then it's back to this guy's post on LinkedIn, right? Feels like kind of like a gross relationship, kind of slimy, almost used car salesmanish, where you just become a number in the number cog, right? In that big machine. You don't see seen. You don't feel like you're heard. They're not really trying to find out what's best going to work for you. It's more like, do you fit within their framework? And if you don't, then you can just be chewed up and spit out. Create meaningful relationships. That's what matters most in business and in life. Because if we don't have those, what else do we have? Money can come and go. Things can come and go. Resources, there's time. But the memories, the experiences, and things that we experience with other people, the insights we get and the wisdom and collaboration, that's invaluable. So this week, look at money. Look at your relationship with money. Is it where you want it to be? If not, again, like I said earlier, write it a letter if it's not talking to you. Wait to see what it says back. Help unlock kind of that flow and start treating it as a real relationship instead of just a mechanism to get what you want. Because it's far more powerful than that. Okay? So, just some thoughts for this week. Things that I'm seeing, things that I feel like will be useful if applied properly. So don't just like watch this video or read the newsletter that comes out and be like, oh, that's cool, Joe, thanks. Go apply what I've told you. Try it out. And if it works or doesn't work, hit reply or post in the comments of the video and say, Joe, this isn't working. I've had people do that before and we can have a conversation around that. Why not? Because it's always there for you. You just got to figure out and how it's speaking to you. Okay? So try it out. Let me know. I'm curious. Until next week, we'll see ya. Bye.